going on? What's going on? We back for another one. The WBC got themselves up into a little bit of ish, and they had to put it down. The WBC, one of the representatives, um, put out on social media that there was something wrong with Javante Tank Davis's gloves, and that he used some kind of illegal methods, I guess you try to say, to knock out Leo Santa Cruz. And the backlash was immediate, I guess you could say. What happened was there was a channel. It's a big channel. Mostly, they focus on the Mexican fighters, and they try to say that Javante Tank Davis had cheated because he didn't use the gloves that were assigned to him. That he changed his gloves, and that the gloves weren't signed, and that the wraps weren't signed as well, and that nobody knew about the gloves, and that something illegal had been done. And so I guess this particular person probably follows one of those channels, automatically just went with it and rode with it, which was very interesting to people due to the fact that we've seen a lot of pictures, we've seen a lot of videos that showed that something went wrong, that something was definitely off with Tyson Fury's gloves, due to the Deontay Wilder fight. Yet they've immediately said they were trying to take away from Tyson Fury's victory, that nothing was done illegal. Suman even said that he was in the locker room, on both locker rooms, when the gloves were put on, which turned out to be completely inaccurate. There's videos of Ricky Hatton in the first fight, I guess, pulling the glove, Tyson Fury's glove down, so it could be further down the laces. Obviously we've seen all the videos of where you can see the knuckles in one glove. You can see the glove flapping around and as he's jabbing with the other hand, all that stuff. But they've chose to completely ignore all of that. The mess that's in their own kitchen, they've chose to completely ignore it. Yet somehow focus on an event that had absolutely nothing to do with them whatsoever. That's the one they decided to focus on. So obviously people went at them because of it. Not only regular fans, but also fighters and boxers as well. Because I guess the reality situation is you have two gloves that you're allowed to sign off on. If when you're going to fight, you pick two of them. You have a second pair, and you have the right all the way up to the beginning of the fight, last minute, to switch those gloves if you want to. And what's funny about it was that Javante Tank Davis changed from his Grant gloves, which is seen as a boxer's glove. That's what you usually use. The knockout punchers usually use. And he went to these gloves called the winner gloves. Winners. The winners are a softer glove. They have more padding on them, and they're used basically to help, save a fighter's hands. Like if a fighter has, let's say, brittle hands, they have issues with their hands, or Javante Tank Davis, I'm figuring maybe he had some kind of injury with his hand, and he just didn't like when he was practicing with the gloves. He had the Grant gloves on. He didn't like the way it felt. He could probably still feel some pain or some kind of wasn't comfortable. So it's like, nah, let's switch to the other ones. Will help your hands better during the fight. So he actually he knocked out Leo with the safer gloves. The gloves where he was less likely to knock somebody out with. Those are the gloves that he hit him with. So imagine if he had the Grant gloves, ironically. And fighters were saying, talking about it in there, that during training, fighters usually use winter gloves. Those are the gloves they usually use during training because it's better for your hands. And there was a lot of videos. I guess there was a lot of videos that were live during the whole process, from when he got the first gloves put on to when he decided to, that he didn't like those gloves and he got the second gloves put on. With the commission being right there and them signing off on the gloves already were signed off on. And there's videos of Leo Santa Cruz's team signing off on those gloves. There's just video evidence of everything. And they were able to, different people kept putting all that information out, spit by and quickly. So when all this information just basically flooded this person's feed, showing that everything that they were saying was BS, all the evidence got just thrown right in front of them, they deleted the post. And that was the end of that. But I just think it's a shame. It's a shame that you want to focus so much on somebody else's event, yet when you have dirt in your own kitchen, when you have questions in your own kitchen, you don't want to clean that mess up. You want to focus on somebody else's kitchen. It end up not even being dirty. It was squeaky clean. Everything up front done the correct way. You wanted to focus on that and try to start a BS story out of nothing. And that gets shut down. Yet when it came to your fighter, your champion that has reigned for years and has done right by you, brought you some of the biggest matches, biggest events, he gets done wrong, and you don't want to see the need to investigate it whatsoever. Just like when Cruz lost her title and had questions about the person she was facing. And you stood up, said, nah, nothing's going wrong. We've known this woman for her whole life, know her family, everything. Then she tests positive. But then this champion that got a belt taken away from her from this cheat has to wait months before her belt is given back to her. I guess when it comes to the WBC, when it comes to certain people, who cares what happens to them? Who cares about their health? You know, who cares about their health? Who cares about their well-being? All they care about is getting a check from them. And when it comes to others, they're going to stand up for them. Like increase clenbuterol levels so they don't fail any more tests. Or when they get a surprise testing in Mexico, which they never get, and they fail it, you know, let's just believe whatever BS excuse that they have and just stand by them. You know, it's from the meat, even though he would have had to have eaten an entire cow to have gotten the levels that was in his system. But who cares about the other fighters' well-being and health, right? It's the road that the WBC has chosen to take. You know, besides also watering down all their belts by coming out with about 80,000 of them and now trying to come up with a completely new division when it comes to the cruiserweight division. It's a shame. It's a shame where the WBC has come to, and as they keep on going on this path, I think it's a path that's just going to get ugly for them. And whatever integrity and whatever respect that they might have is slowly going out the window. But for now, like, subscribe, share. I'm out.